It sounded like ripping cloth. A single burst could cut down a charging platoon before they hit the ground. The MG42, the deadliest machine gun of the Second World War. Feared by the Allies. Worshipped by the Wehrmacht. But if you were the man behind it, you were living on borrowed time. Because the MG42 didn't just make you dangerous. It made you the #1 target on the battlefield. In 1942, Nazi Germany unveiled a new general-purpose machine gun, the Maskeningewehre 42. It fired the standard 7.92 by 57mm Mauser round, but at a rate of 1,200 to 1,500 rounds per minute. That's twice as fast as most Allied machine guns. Its distinct sound, a single continuous roar, led American troops to call it Hitler's Buzzsaw. It was belt-fed, air-cooled, and had a quick-change barrel system so the gunner could swap overheated barrels in seconds. In the right hands, it could pin down entire companies. From Normandy's hedgerows to the snow of the Eastern Front, the MG42 became the backbone of German infantry tactics. Being an MG42 gunner wasn't a solo job. It took a team, usually the gunner and the assistant gunner. The gunner carried the weapon itself, nearly 26 pounds of steel. The assistant carried spare barrels, ammunition belts, and tools. The MG42 was set up on a bipod for mobile use or on a heavy tripod for sustained fire. The gunner's role: fire short, controlled bursts to suppress or destroy enemy forces. The assistant's role: feed the belts, watch for targets, and keep the gun running. Sounds simple. It wasn't. The moment an MG42 opened fire, every Allied soldier in range knew exactly where you were. The MG42's rate of fire came at a cost. It burned through barrels in less than 200 rounds. That meant constant barrel changes, even under fire. If you hesitated, the gun overheated and jammed. Reloading wasn't just a mechanical task, it was a death sentence if you weren't fast. A jammed MG42 under enemy fire was like waving a flag saying, "Shoot me now." Gunners also had to fight the weapon's recoil and keep control of its deadly spray. Even with training, the gun could climb wildly if you weren't ready. But the biggest danger wasn't mechanical. It was visibility. The muzzle flash, the sound, the smoke, the MG42 might as well have been a spotlight. Snipers loved MG42 gunners. Artillery spotters loved them even more. If you survived the first minute of fire, you probably wouldn't survive the second. June 6, 1944. The Allied landings at Normandy. German MG42 teams were positioned in reinforced bunkers along the beaches. Their arcs of fire overlapped, creating kill zones hundreds of yards wide. One veteran of the U.S. 1st Infantry Division recalled, "We didn't see the Germans. We just saw sand kicking up in front of us and men falling." MG42s shredded the first waves. But the gunners? They were high-value targets. Once Allied tanks and naval guns locked onto their positions, survival time dropped to minutes. Many MG crews never left their bunkers alive. On the Eastern Front, the MG42's role was even more critical. Soviet infantry assaults came in massive waves. The MG42's sheer rate of fire was often the only thing holding the line. But with that firepower came a predictable fate. Soviet snipers, some of the best in the war, were trained to take out machine gunners first. If the MG went silent, the defense crumbled. German doctrine treated the MG as the centerpiece of every squad. That meant if you killed the gunner, you crippled the unit. And the Soviets knew it. The MG42's design was so good, it's still in use today. The modern MG3 is a direct descendant. Its high rate of fire wasn't about killing more soldiers. It was about creating a psychological wall of noise that froze the enemy. Allied troops were so terrified of the sound that some units practiced under simulated MG42 fire to prepare for the shock. After the war, the MG42 didn't disappear. Its design influenced countless weapons, from the Belgian FN-MAG to the American M60. In West Germany, it became the MG3, still firing at blistering speeds, but chambered for NATO ammunition. The role of the machine gunner hasn't changed: high firepower, high visibility, high risk. But nothing quite matches the MG42's combination of speed, power, and danger for the man behind it. The MG42 was the most feared weapon on the battlefield. But fear is a double-edged sword. It drew the enemy's attention like blood in the water. And the man pulling the trigger was always the first to bleed.